Hello ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing once again? Welcome back. We have a slight announcement to make that has literally just been made today, and that is that World of Warships is coming to the console. I believe Xbox One as well as the PlayStation 4, and this has been a long time coming. This site has literally just gone up today, and as far as what we can see, everyone is talking about it. So what have we got specifically about the game? I have played Blitz very briefly. I haven't played the PC, so the information I've got in regards to the game on the Intro FAQ page on the actual forums, which there aren't that many because it is literally, this is how new the entire site is brief. There are a lot of limitations to the game compared to what you have on Blitz and PC, but if you've played it before, you'll get used to it. If you've never played it, this is a good chance to get into another relatively good game from Wargaming. So we're going to go from the very, very, very top and describe exactly what World of Warships is. It's literally your sea battles, your naval battles, and it works on the same premises of World of Tanks as well as World of Warplanes to an extent. Your packaging system, your different class types of ships, in the same way that you have like tank destroyers, heavy tanks, medium tanks, etc. That kind of principle ported over, but into a naval battle. You'll still move through what is effectively here tiers of ships with various legendary vehicles. You still have things such as your premium time, premium consumables, your normal consumables, etc. But obviously, due to the fact it's a completely different game, it's reworked somewhat. At the moment, they're going into the alpha stage. If you do want to get yourself into the alpha stage, just sign up for the website, get an email sent across to yourself, fill in a survey. It's quite a long one, if I'm honest. And then you can go from there and actually, hopefully, I would say, get yourself into the alpha stage and learn about the game. If you haven't played World of Warships, even if it's only been like myself on Blitz, if you get yourself into the alpha stage, you'll have a really good understanding, and this plays so much differently to what would be, in my own experience, World of Tanks consoles. It will play so much differently on console for World of Warships itself. Everything is a lot slower, so you just have to get used to that. I say slower, the destroyers themselves are actually quite quick, but in comparison, the gameplay kind of feels slower. Although the games, on average, according to this, last about 9 minutes. Again, very similar to the console if you've obviously played that on a regular basis. As we're going down, the game is not specifically a port from the PC version. I believe in the same way in which World of Tanks console is not technically a port, but they will still take things from the PC and implement it into what is effectively the console version. Effectively nailed World of Warships Legends. I wouldn't really say it's realistic, so we'll go back to that point. And again, what you'll need to in order to play World of Warships, well, Xbox Live and PlayStation Network account linked, and then you're all good. 30 gigabyte, that's not too bad. It does mean I think I've got about 87 gig left. I might have to delete some stuff. It's going to be a bit of a tough decision. Terabyte uses up so much quickly. So, what we have choice-wise. At the moment, there are 3 classes, which basically you're going to have your destroyers, your cruisers, and your battleships. With that being the case, I don't think they're including the aircraft carriers just yet. I presume that will be something down the line. After playing World of Warships Blitz, I can honestly say the destroyers are very, very good. I akin them to the artillery class in that they don't require that much skill to play. But given the choice, if you're able to flank an opposition in, say, a cruiser or a battleship, they can dump torpedoes like no tomorrow, and they do a lot of damage. Your cruisers are sort of your middleweights, medium tanks, and your battleships are your heavy tanks. If you wanted that as a comparison, the battleships are very, very good for long range combat, and if you have something which is broadside, maybe not even looking at you, and you actually somehow able to flank, they will do a shed load of damage at short range, but you've got to compensate that for the long reload, so your cruisers are definitely there. It's your similar kind of team aspect or team play in regards to it. Destroyers, not so much. If you can get yourself in a position, I tended to play a little bit sneaky with the destroyers and did quite well. This again being on the Blitz, not the full game, so I don't think the skill level was there, but I did find myself being alive a lot of the time towards the end. I might not necessarily have won the game, but I did quite a lot of damage, and it's very easy to do that in the destroyers. I would say the cruiser battleships have a little bit higher skill level in order to play them efficiently, and they definitely require the teamwork to go with it, not just of which your knowledge of the map locations, how the spotting mechanics work, but also watching out for pesky destroyers that will ruin your day rather quickly. And that is like, even getting up to the tier 5s and tier 6s, they are really good. So you're going to have a lot of fun with that. The nations itself, they're saying there are currently 10 representing the game, with the major ones being Japan, USA, USSR, Germany, Britain and France, selected from the Pan-Asian, Polish, Italian, Commonwealth navies as well. It's going to be growing as more get added to it, and I can understand that you want to get the basics right. So in the same way as how World of Tanks console worked, there are going to be additions of nations, specific vehicles, or in this case ships themselves added on. That will be progressed as long as they get the fundamental aspects of the game sorted out. So you don't want glitches, you don't want ships flying about everywhere, you don't want to be shooting ghost shells, etc. So there's that. This is I really shouldn't have done that because it just highlighted it, but yeah. So this is why I said they don't have aircraft carriers in the game. It's a 4th class. They are going through what is apparently an overhaul, change their gameplay completely. So they're going to be adding them somewhere around 2019. Don't expect to see them anytime soon. But again, what you want is the basics, fundamentals of the game added in and working. That suggests to me, and I haven't read any further down just yet, that the alpha and the beta stage might be a similar sort of length to World of Tanks console, and that went on for about a year and a bit. And a lot of the stuff did get ironed out, specifically bugs, how well the progression worked, whether there was any tweaks needed to be made, map rotation, etc. So you might find yourselves having the same maps over and over again, but it's still going to be a relatively fun game to play, and especially learn. It's a completely different learning curve to what you had in World of Tanks console, but if you've already played on PC, you've got yourself an advantage quite there. The progression itself, briefly go through this one. There's been the 7 tiers of ships, and you begin at tier 1 with the late XIX and XX Century cruisers coming in later on. Vehicle tier, I don't understand why they say vehicle tiers. That always confused me when I was reading through this earlier, but yeah, I mean, well, see how it is. But the progression is going to be very, very similar. And if you played the Blitz version, you have the similar package system to what you have on PC. The console version is more of a dumbed down, if I'm perfectly honest, but the progression is still going to be exactly the same in terms of you build up XP on that specific vehicle. You can add it towards upgrading specific parts of the boat, or you can then actually earn and get another boat with it. So you unlock basically XP towards the boat, so you then unlock them, carrying them up, etc, etc, etc. So there isn't too much in terms of a difference between any other really World of Tanks game, or World of Warships, World of Tanks, World of Planes, wargaming game per se. The next part, they just go on about how well is it to be good in this game specifically. You could treat it like World of Tanks console. Certainly me playing for the first time on Blitz, it never really bothered me to try and win because it is very difficult to do so, especially with the lack of communication that happened. But you'll get that really in any game. If you find yourself in games where you're losing, you can platoon up, you can go with friends, you can party up, etc. If you do go solo, try and play for yourself because it will get you a lot easier to progress further towards the next boat. If you are looking to go for the win, go with people so you have team communication. I suppose that's the only best way you can put it across. Solo, play for yourself, team, play for the team. That's the best way of putting it, but you will be able to play with friends. This is the information in regards to how long the typical battle lasts. Around 9 minutes, very, very similar to what you'll find in the World of Tanks console, but that does vary on the type of players who are actually playing and whether they're actually good or not. You might obviously get one team that basically wins in 5 minutes. Blitz games, I think they lasted about 5 minutes maximum, 5 to 7 minutes or something like that. It's like the literal time limit, so you could probably figure that there are smaller maps on there, so they were able to get games done quicker. So the maps on console, I assume, will be slightly bigger, but again, they're not going to be too long, the games themselves, even though you are moving relatively slow in a lot of them. The maps and locations are just going to be, I think they're going to be few and far between. Obviously, this is what I was discussing earlier with regards to the different sizes and the way in which you've got a lot of scenery in front of you. So in this case, I mean the island specifically, you are going to find yourself using them as cover on a regular basis, and a lot of people will do. So you just have a look at what's happening. How long do you plan to keep the game in alpha testing? 2 months or more, depending on how well it goes and how we can polish the game and move on to the close and then open beta. I don't know how long the physical beta will last for, the actual after the alpha's gone. I'm basing this off the World of Tanks console, and then it went on for a very long time. I'm not sure specifically what made them go on for a very long time, but I say a very long time. 12 months is a fairly long while, considering now that betas are pretty much a trailer or a demo for the game rather than anything else. But it shouldn't be something too much of a problem that if it does go on for a while, people are going to get bored, because things are always going to get added in, and at least when the game does eventually come out, you'll have all that knowledge and experience to be able to progress forward. And I'm going to tell you now, that knowledge and experience that you gain in the alpha and the beta, if you are able to sign up now, and I'll try and put everything in the description on how you can do, is going to be something that you are definitely going to need and use on a regular basis. Do it. If you can sign up for this early on and get knowledge, do it, because you will end up having an easier time progressing and a more fun time, if you can put it that way, of actually playing the game itself, and you'll enjoy it a lot more. But as ever, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you beautiful people later, and be staying tuned for any emails you get about the alpha test, as well as any updates from here. Ta-ra.